Hi, Shannon Grimm with Shannon Grimm and Partners at Howard Anna. I'm not sure why he's laughing at me, but he usually is. I'm joined today with Bull, Dina, and Mr. Stanley here. We're here to talk about some common misconceptions that sellers have and some seller myths and mistakes.
Pick me.
And, all right, Dina.
I'm first. Okay, this is what I find the most common mistake with sellers. Especially if they've lived in the home a long time, they think they have to totally update the kitchen, the flooring, and I'm like, it's just cosmetic. Do some paint, maybe buy like a doormat on the front, clean up the leaves and everything, make it, presentable, warm, welcome. Just clean up the place.
It also depends.
Nailed it.
Clean it up and don't have clutter everywhere. Depersonalize it but you don't have to spend a fortune. You have to throw down 40 grand for your kitchen.
It also depends on what the neighbors are like too. So I'm a huge fan of going in and I've gone in as much as a year in advance to tell someone, actually one in a year and a half I think out, to tell them what I would do or wouldn't do. Because they had a preconceived notion in their head of what they thought they needed to do. And once they did what I told them to do, which was considerably less, they were like, wow, that made a huge difference. So,
Right.
So you just never know. It's good to have us come out before you start doing stuff. We also have connections that can save you money on stuff too. And speaking of repairs though, a lot of times the seller will say, I just want to offer a closing credit for carpet, or I want to offer a credit for this or credit for that. So when you do that, when you offer a credit for carpet, there's two problems. The first is, unless it's a cash deal, it's not going through the lender, because the lender has it as a perceived non-complete home. The second problem is, if your carpet is dirty or rolled up, stuff like that, then a buyer's misconception is that it's going to cost way more than what you're offering, and what else have you neglected? If you've neglected this carpet that you have to walk on and see every day, what else didn't you take care of? So we have vendor who will come out, move your furniture, put in new carpet and everything, and it's a lot cheaper than you think. So sometimes that just makes a huge difference.
And sometimes you don't have to pay for that carpet until after closing. Just depends.
Because they do sometimes offer 18 months in cash.
Correct.
But some people also think, okay, well, if I'm going to put new carpet in it and it's going to cost me $6,000, then I want $6,000 more for my house. Well, no, it doesn't work that way, because you should have put new carpet in it anyways. So
it's the same with roofs, HVACs.
Right. Those things are called deferred maintenance. So especially when you're in a buyer's market. What do buyers want right now? They want every house to be brand new almost.
And they want land.
Yeah, but they want, most buyers now, even if it's not on land, wherever it is, they want it to be move-in ready with nothing they have to do to it. They don't even want to have to paint.
Especially young buyers.
Yep.
Yeah, because they're already forking over or whatever it is for their down payment and closing costs, and depending on your loan type and what lender you talk to and what programs you use, you could be more than others. That's why it's good to talk to an agent early on to connect you with the right lender. But
Buyer, but now we're talking sellers.
Oh, I know, but I thought I would mention that. But they don't want to move in and after they spent all this money to purchase the house and immediately start shelling out more money to fix it up. They might not have that opportunity. They may not have that money.
Well, plus, if you say you hire a professional painter and it's going to cost $6,000 to paint your house. The buyer's
That's a deal.
The buyer's perception depends on the size of the house. The buyer's perception of paint needing to be done is it's going to cost $30,000, especially with first-time home buyers, because they have no idea how much anything costs. They're just not used to pricing out anything, so they just automatically make everything ridiculously expensive because that's what they think.
Yep.
I mean, if you're going to get all new features, I guess that is kind of difficult to kind of make a guesstimate on how much new carpet's going to be if you wanted to do that.
Most buyers have never done that before.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of sellers think it's going to be huge too, which is why, and they know it's going to be a pain in the butt, because it is a pain in the butt to move all your furniture. But first of all, you need to downsize anyhow. You need to downsize the crap in your house in order to get it to sell.
Yep.
You don't live in the house the way you sell a house.
Just like Dina said, declutter that bad boy.
Yep. So you want to take out stuff like, and if you've got furniture that you're not moving to the next house, talk to us about how it's going to be staged, whatever. Maybe you should just take that furniture out of the house, which would make getting the carpeting put in a lot easier to do.
Yeah, there's small updates and changes that can have a big impact.
Big impact.
And each of those is different depending on the house, the neighborhood, and what needs done in the conditions. Correct. So it's not just, every house can do this, this, and this, and that's a formula to win. No, your house may need
That's why we have to see that.
A and C, and this house might need B and D done, and that's why we go in and we make our suggestions. But I think on top of that, a big thing is cleaning, and that's what you mentioned.
Everyone's version of clean is drastically different.
It is, but guess whose version of clean is not different? A cleaning company. So
But I have had people also get offended at me. So I had someone who was moving out of the house, moving into a new house, and she was going to come back and clean the old house. And I said, well, I can refer you to a cleaning company if you want. And she was like, oh, you think my version of clean isn't good? And I'm like, well, no. When I move from one house to the other, I'm just done. I don't want to go back. I don't want to clean it. I don't want to look at it. I want to be done. So we're very gentle in how we recommend things too.
Sometimes.
It'll be beneficial if you clean and declutter.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's beneficial if you do a deep clean. Like it doesn't hurt if you get a deep clean done, especially if you do have pets and stuff. So it's just beneficial.
I was going to say another belief that a lot of sellers tend to have is that the prices on Zillow are close to what their house should be priced at, and that it's always either too much or too low. So you honestly can't look at Zillow as a reliable source to look at housing prices.
Fun fact about Zillow is that Zillow couldn't even get the Zestimate right on the owner of Zillow's house.
Yeah, that tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
And Zillow doesn't actually enter your home, which is another reason why we need to enter the home. Because we've actually had houses where you walk into them, and someday I will invent this. I will invent photos that through your computer will poof out a scent at you so that you know what the house smells like before you go in.
A scented photo would be incredible.
And it would also be nice if I could throw fleas at you so that you would know whether or not it's flea infested. Because there's been a couple showings I've gone to where I had to get undressed in the garage. But, so we try to help with all that stuff, though. Yeah.
It's tough, and I think that's the biggest thing is your sellers are thrown numbers constantly. There's a million different companies, websites, and things that will throw numbers at them. Like, hey, your house is worth this. It's worth this. It's trending up. Guess what? I keep track of those for my house because I keep track of my house myself. It's way off, and currently mine was overvalued for a long time, and then it cratered to undervalued, and I'm looking at the market, I'm seeing what's selling, and this is not even close to where it is. And so if I sold it when it was overvalued, my house was going to sit forever. If I sold it when it's undervalued, I'm losing money. And it's like you need to have someone who can come in and tell you and show you what needs to be done.
And the rooms and bathrooms aren't even all up to date either. I mean, I've seen so many instances where it says six bedroom, 2 bathroom, and then you find out that there's 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom or something. So that's a big thing that I've also noticed on Zillow.
And a big thing I've noticed about even like listings in our MLS is that if the agent isn't very experienced, the agent might not put the subdivision that your home is located in, which is a big issue because a lot of people will look by subdivision. So if your home isn't being listed accurately, like there was one listing that didn't sell that I ended up getting that listing once it had to go back on the market because we are remarketing specialists, so we're really good at remarketing a house once the initial agent couldn't sell it. That house was listed as though it was on a slab, and it was a 5,000 square foot home with the lower level. but the agent had listed it as on a slab. So it's important that all of your information is in the MLS correctly and that you have an experienced agent who makes sure that all that stuff is done. And I try to get a second set of eyes on everything I do because I do make mistakes. So,
Yeah, but that's huge though, because a buyer's search will disclude that home because of that mistake.
right.
And it's you've lost out on a huge pool of buyers at that point. That could have been the person to come in that wanted it that first
Yeah.
week.
And especially like if you're missing a whole, basement, if you're missing a subdivision, those small things can make it so that your house doesn't sell when it should have, and it can just really taint your home on the market. So you need someone who can come in and really make it popping and make it look like a totally different listing, is what I tell people I have to do. And then another misconception is that if you do for sale by owner, that it's going to be way easier than dealing with a real estate agent, and it's going to be more cost effective. So most of the time, people don't know how to value their home, so they're going to overvalue the home. And when you overvalue your home, you shoot yourself in the foot because it sits on the market so long that then people assume that there's something wrong with it. So then you get even less for your house than you would have gotten had it been listed correctly in the first place. And then you want to be there for every showing, which means buyers aren't going to feel comfortable. They're not going to really want to look around. They're going to rush through the house because they don't like having the actual seller there. And I ran into this when I did my own open house of my house. It's really, oh, wait, you're the owner. So they kind of, they're not as comfortable with that as they would be if it was just an agent who they can speak freely in front of.
You're fielding all the phone calls for the showing requests. You are taking all the phone calls for questions about the house, which, if you're comfortable with all that, that's great. But I've talked to enough for sale by owners who are just sick of. They said, this has been sitting. I've been dealing with this for 60, 80, 90 days.
Well, a lot of times
I'm done with this.
They can't accommodate the showing times that the people are requesting.
Right.
And what they don't understand is that, if these people are coming from out of town or out of a state, they might only have so long. Like sometimes we'll get relocation buyers who, okay, I've got 24 hours to show as many houses as I can get them into, and they're going to make a decision. If you're not available to let them see your house at a certain time, then, you're kind of...
Your house isn't going to be on the list.
Right.
But they have to sacrifice their weekends. I mean, think about it. If they're selling it on their own,
It's overwhelming, yeah, for sure.
you have to be at their beck and call if you want to sell it. I mean, I drive by a house in Hilliard. It's been on, I think it's for sale by owner for almost a year. And it's a great house. It's in Hilliard City Schools, but it's just, just sitting there.
Yeah, and then once they do
And
get
that's
that
great,
offer...
though. If they don't really want to sell it,
Right.
for sale by owner. If you're putting the price as $1 million, it's worth $500. Go ahead, do for sale by owner.
That's
See if someone
I
buys.
don't want to sell it price.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, there was one in my old neighborhood that had their house listed with an agent. Every year, a new agent for 11 years.
Did the price keep going down?
No.
Kept going up, I'm sure.
And when I had folks that submitted an offer under asking, they responded back over asking with a list of every single dollar they spent on every light bulb they ever put into the home since they owned it.
What?
That's fun.
It's insanity.
It was really fun.
We deal with a lot of interesting people.
Yes, we are part psychiatrist, part marriage counselor, part grief counselor, all sorts of fun.
Driver.
Correct.
But there's no blood and feces, which is what I avoided by not being a nurse. Makes me feel bad. Those are.
Oh, that's another thing. Sometimes you'll get a good real estate agent like our team who will go above and beyond and do things that no other agent would do.
No other agent would touch.
Like
Especially
helping
for-
clean or move or do things to your house that we need to market and list. So
Well, sort of.
Shannon almost had me mow someone's lawn one time before they
Yes.
listed the house.
Because they never actually mowed it themselves.
I was like, I'll do it.
They hadn't actually mowed their lawn in the year and a half that they've lived there.
Yeah, that'll
I think I know that person.
But anyhow, those are extreme circumstances. It's not like we do go clean every house or anything like that.
Yes.
So sometimes we have sellers that are not local, And sometimes we also have sellers that have just lost a spouse or something and can't really afford to do certain things. So
we are happy. We are happy to help where it's
Certain
necessary.
yes. So, but anything else that we can think of?
I think a big misconception is, hey, my neighbor's house sold for X, 6 months ago. Mine should sell for that or more. Well,
Sometimes they even pull stuff from 2 years ago.
yeah, and I'm like, 2 years ago was a long time. 2 months ago is a long time in this market.
Yeah.
It just depends on the time of year, and your neighbor has a different style house, maybe updates, maybe a bigger lot, more square footage. I mean, there's a lot of factors that you have to look into.
Yeah, if your lot has no backyard and it's the side yard that has the square footage, and your neighbor has a nice rectangular, nice big backyard, then that house is going to go for more than what yours would because you have no backyard. It's a side yard. So just totally different. So every house is unique and different. Or if when you look out the back door of your house and there happens to be a ginormous power line up against the back wall of your home, it's going to sell for considerably less than your neighbors who did not have a power company pay to put that in the backyard. So had one of those. It looked perfectly normal when you walked in. It looked really pretty. The people, so I was showing a buyer, the people had redone everything in the house. You look out through the window, you don't see anything. You get out to the sliding glass door, you still don't see it. You open the door, you look out, that thing is right up against the house.
Wow.
I was like, how'd that even get there?
Right.
So there are some funky things that can definitely determine your value.
Yes, 100%.
But anyhow, if you are looking to sell in the near future, year or so under, we'd be happy to help. We service 8 counties surrounding Central Ohio here. So happy to help, and you usually get a 2-for-1 special. So you usually get me and someone else for the same price.
We're ready.
And all of our marketing that comes with it. So we actually spend almost $2,000 before your house even goes live on the market. So
The marketing is top notch. That's one of the biggest things I see is with this team, it makes a huge difference, and that's why I love being on this team. It's incredible.
and you're spoiled.
Oh.
But thanks for watching today, and make sure, as always, to
Like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell at Shannon Grimm Realtor and at 614 Real Estate Nerds.